So in this video, I'm going to be answering a question from a family, specific questions. Imagine there's a homeschool family and they have students in 7th grade, 6th grade, 4th grade, 2nd grade. I'm just giving a general overview of what I would recommend for this particular situation. Now, you can email me your specifics and I can give you recommendations, but this is what I would recommend for a homeschool family that has students in those 4 grade levels. So in the summertime is a great opportunity to figure out what you need to be working on in the fall, or what areas you need to focus your attention on. And so when I think of the summer, I think of opportunities for assessment, I think of opportunities of continual practice. But see, until students are done with math, with their math career, I honestly recommend that they keep doing a little bit of math every summer and they shouldn't take that 3-month break. But that's another lesson for another day. I'll go into detail on that. I grew up in Nigeria where we don't get to take 3 months off. So it helped us to keep getting ahead if we wanted. Okay, so now if we have people in 7th, 6th, 4th, and 2nd grade, this is the general curriculum update for the STEM Academy we have. And our STEM Academy is online, of course. It has online content, but we also meet in person. But the in-person meetings right now are only happening in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Our goal and vision down the road, God willing, is to see all these STEM academies in different cities across America, because we want to help students have a passion for learning the history of science and math as well as the content. Even if a person decides they don't want to go into a field in science, we want them to have a passion for learning math and science. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at the specifics for a family that has kids in 7th grade, 6th grade, 4th, and 2nd grade. Why don't we start with the 7th grader, and then we'll work our way down to the 2nd grader, if that's okay. So based on the general formula that I've put together, if you have a family and parents are trying to educate multiple grade levels, it might be best sometimes to try and use curriculum that they can share so that you don't have to do prep work for 4 different grade levels. So here's how this could work in this situation. So we have, let me just list these off. Well, actually, we don't have to worry about this, right, for this particular family because they're done with kindergarten, 1st grade. But so you have 2nd through 4th grade. Using the Notgrass curriculum, what I would recommend is that you can actually take the Notgrass 50 States curriculum, and they have another one called the Star-Spangled History, something to that effect. And the idea is the history of America. So you have either the 50 States book, which is what we're using at the co-op this year. We have the 50 States book, or we have the other book as well. So you take this curriculum and you connect it with the literature reading. So there's a literature reading that goes with the book. So the idea is that students are learning about the 50 states, they're learning about different things, but notice that you can do that with 2nd through 4th grade. So that takes care of the 2nd through 4th grade. They're doing the same curriculum, that's fine. Next year, when they're in 3rd and 5th grade, you can switch it around and do the other curriculum if you want. But the idea is it's keeping it intact. You're only doing one history. So let's make a list here. So history, literature, we're doing Notgrass 50 States. Now, you can do the story of the world, you can do other curriculum, but I would encourage or consider, especially if they all get along, having the 2nd and 4th grade students work on Notgrass 50 States. Now let's move and the literature that goes with that. Of course, we need to make sure that the 2nd through 4th graders are mastering their reading principles, that they are growing in their love for reading, and all of that, and spelling, and grammar, but the 50 states is the history literature recommendation. The English, again, you find what works best to get them learning their grammar, their spelling, their writing, and so on. There's a curriculum by a man named Andrew Podua, or at least that's his organization, the Institute for Excellence in Writing. That's one that I recommend there. So now let me turn my attention to science. For science, I would recommend Science in the Beginning, or Science in the Ancient World, or Science in the Scientific Revolution. So for science, they're using the J. Wiles curriculum. So J. Wiles. And his curriculum, Dr. J. Wiles, his curriculum provides the history of the content, which is so important. So you learn, for example, about Galileo. You learn the history about Galileo, and then you learn about the revolution that occurred. Copernican revolution first, Galileo, and then of course we know Isaac Newton was born the same year Galileo died. Newton was born on Christmas Day of 1642, and so when you're studying some of the things of the scientific revolution, you learn about what Galileo accomplished, and then you learn about what Newton accomplished, and so on and so forth. You learn about the people behind the science, you learn about the concepts themselves, but I believe the history can enrich the learning experience. So that's what I recommend for science, is Science in the Beginning, or one of the books in the series of Dr. J. Wiles for the elementary school students. And let me add that for science, you can actually use that for the second grader, the fourth grader, and the sixth grader. And honestly, you can use it for the seventh grader as well. You can use one science curriculum for all four of them, because the questions they ask at the end do differentiate into different categories. They do that. For the Snodgrass 50 states, depending on how things are going for a family, you could technically do Snodgrass 50 states for everybody. You could. Or here's what I recommend for the 6th and 7th graders. For the 6th and 7th graders, I would say that they can do Snodgrass from Adam to us. So from Adam to us, Snodgrass from Adam to us is a world history curriculum. And I can present all this in an email as well. So for Adam to us is a world history curriculum. Snodgrass 50 states. So Snodgrass 50 states will be the 2nd and 4th graders. From Adam to us will be 6th and 7th graders. So that's what our history will be. For English, it's dependent on where each child is at and what curriculum fits their learning style. For science, Dr. J. Wiles, for simplicity, you can honestly just do everybody using the same Science in the Beginning, Science in the scientific revolution, and so on and so forth. The other thing you could do for science, especially when you get to 8th grade, is to do the general science curriculum by Dr. J. Wiles. That's a good one from Apologia that he wrote years ago. So, but for this year, I would say everybody can just do science together. And then they could do the experiments together. The questions are broken down into youngest students, oldest students. And so you can use the same module, same lesson, but differentiate how the questions are asked. For math, which is one of my favorite things, as most people know. I love math, I love science, but the math, again, is dependent on, okay, let's do a quick assessment, let's see where people are at. For the second grade level, actually for 2nd through 4th grade level, I recommend the Mastering Mathematics series, where they're learning and mastering addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And that series is very good. They have a book for each of those, and I'll make a video going over the math series. So that's number one I would recommend for the math. As long as the 2nd through 4th graders are working on mastering arithmetic, they are on track to where they need to be. If the 4th grader has mastered multiplication and division, they should honestly be thinking a lot about fractions and decimals and percents. If they've mastered that, they can go into our pre-algebra course, which is available on our website. So that's what I would recommend for the 4th graders, is that they can do that as an option. So the 2nd grade to 4th grade, you're using the Master Mathematics series. For the 6th and 7th grade, I would actually use a pre-algebra course. So what I've learned through the years of teaching math, I've taught math now for about 15 years, is that what matters most, and we see this in science and math history as well, what matters most is mastery of what you need to know now. If you've mastered what you need, you can move on to the next level. That was how we think of Newton. We think of some of these math people. They were working on a principle of mastering what they needed to know. It wasn't just all about, oh, I'm 10 years old now, so I must go to this math class. No, if you've mastered the principles, keep going. If you haven't, pause, master, digest, or find different books that will help you learn that topic. But do your best never to let go of mastering each topic. So I'm going to do a quick summary. For 2nd through 4th grade, I recommend the Mastering Mathematics series. For 6th and 7th grade, I actually recommend pre-algebra if they're ready for it. If they're not ready for it, let them go on and master using the Mastering Mathematics series. So the 6th grader can also use the one for fractions and decimals to master those principles. So they will do pre-algebra. The goal is all these students will get to pre-algebra, and then they can do algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, and so on and so forth. So that is the general path I recommend for math. The science is Dr. J. Wiles. Everybody can do the same curriculum. Keeps it simple for preparation. The history literature, they could do 50 states with the reading book, list that goes with that, and they could do Snodgrass from Adam to Us with the reading list that goes with that for their literature. For their writing and grammar, again, there are quite a few options. Jensen's Format Writing, Institute for Excellence in Writing, the Lost Tools of Writing, It's just look at what works well and use that with your child to help them to enjoy the process. Having a coach for writing, a coach for math, those are good things to do. But if you don't have a coach, you can just use these resources and try and do it on your own. Let me know if you have questions on those. If you do want to add foreign language, you can add French or Spanish, and there's resources for that. Let me know if you're interested in that type of material. Otherwise, I hope that this was helpful in explaining my recommendation for the 7th grader, 6th grader, 4th grader, and 2nd grader. I'll be making these series for different grade levels. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.